Today I'm going to tell you guys why I hate the trans community.
He's unbothered.
What's up, everybody? Rivera here, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. If you pay attention to my comments on a lot of my videos, there will always be at least one or two LGBT people or trans activists in the comments. It's like, clearly you hate trans people. If I hated trans people, I wouldn't be trying to stop you guys from wrecking yourselves the way that you're doing right now. If I see a child walking into traffic and I stop that child from walking into traffic, do I hate that child? If I have a friend that drinks too much and I notice symptoms of alcoholism and I tell that friend that they need to stop drinking, do I hate that friend? I think you guys can see what I'm getting at, and that's the way I feel about the trans community. In a lot of cases, the problem with the trans community is not trans people. The problem with the trans community, honestly, is trans activists. Trans activists have taken upon themselves to start speaking for everyday trans people, and they've really made regular people think that they don't like trans people. And I'm trying to at least head that off in some way if I can, because I have so many trans friends and have throughout the years, and I'm sure I'll have more throughout the years. But you can't keep calling everything transphobia when you're the ones egging it on. The fact of the matter is, we all know that there is a difference between trans people and biological people. That's just what it is. People have told you they don't like the term cisgender. You've decided that it's a hate crime if somebody doesn't use the term cisgender. And people have just decided to say, okay, well then I guess we all are transphobic. If that's what you want to hear, if that's what it has to be, either we're with you or against you, then fine, we're against you. That's what it is. So do you feel better? Is that progress in your opinion? Are you doing your job as an activist? Of course you're doing your job as an activist, because your job as an activist is not to create any kind of peace or harmony between the trans community and the cisgender community. Your job as an activist is to continue to perpetuate fear so people continue to send you money so that you continue to have a job. That's what the job of an activist is. And it bothers me that I see so many trans people online that fall for it hook, line, and sinker and think that taking up the same talking points that their activists tell them that they're supposed to take up is the way to go. Why don't you try something different and tell people to respect people and then see what result that yields? Because when I say I'm the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world, the reason I say that is because for the last 15 years, I've been performing in redneck clubs for people that are supposed to hate me. People that supposedly want to cause me harm. Yet for some reason, I excel in these rooms and I'm just as gay there as I am anywhere else. I talk about my sex life. I talk about guys I've dated. I talk about trans people. I talk about everything that you're supposedly not supposed to talk about when you're a gay comedian, and people love it in actual redneck rooms. Not only do I perform in redneck rooms, I also perform in hardcore Latino rooms, black rooms. I performed in China. I performed in Singapore. I performed in Australia. I performed in Bahrain. So when a person like me says, hey, maybe instead of trying to shout and disrespect people into treating you the way that you think you should be treated, maybe instead give them the same respect that you want to see and see what that yields. Because as a person that does that on a nightly basis, I can tell you that I'm not running around getting disrespected. I can tell you that I don't feel unsafe anywhere I go. But you're right. Your idea of what we're supposed to be doing is what we should go with. Your idea that has taken people from being very accepting at a point with LGBT people to now wincing when they hear about LGBT people because of what the activists have done, not because of what people like me have done. So when people are in my comments telling me that I create negative attitudes about LGBT people and trans people specifically, take that energy to your activist and talk to them about it, because I know that everybody around me that's LGBT is getting respect, is getting treated well, is getting treated like everything you say that you want in your life. So why would I go to being like you when you're constantly unhappy and miserable and I'm living a good life? To me, that seems like walking it backwards. And for the people that think that I just say things that straight people would like, I tap dance for straight people, that's another thing I hear. You wish that's what I was doing, because then what you're saying about me might hold some water. But unfortunately for you, know that's not the reality of the situation. And anybody that knows me knows that that's not what I am. And for the people that think that I just do this because the algorithm loves it when you say things that are anti-LGBT and anti-trans, not only do you know nothing about me, you also know nothing about the way the algorithm works. For anybody that doesn't know, the creators like me, Marcus D being one of them, Buck Angel being another one of them, Blair White is another one. If you don't know anything about what we do, a lot of times our stuff will, at least at first, if not just stay that way, be demonetized. In a lot of cases, our stuff will get suppressed. So less people will see it than should actually see it. So to say that it's because the algorithm just favors this kind of thing would also be a misstatement of facts. Now, if the algorithm did just favor it that way, I'd probably be exactly what you're talking about, to tell you the truth. I mean, keep it a buck. Yeah, if it was just making me money every time I made a video that was quote unquote anti-LGBT or anti-trans, then yeah, you might be right. But that's not at all the case. I truly do this because I really do see trans activists dropping the ball and everything rolling back on LGBT people instead of moving forward the way we were in, say, 2010, 2013, all the way up until around 2014, 2015, when woke became a thing and you had the most miserable LGBT people take leadership in our community, which is a lot of what everybody sees on TV and doesn't even realize it. Those miserable activists that you see usually don't even get talked to by other LGBT people, because even we know that we're going to be walking through landmines. We know that these people will try to turn on us at any minute, and we're other LGBT people. You say anything critical to these people, they won't take it in at all and be like, oh, maybe you have a point. Maybe you, the LGBT brown man that's been out for over 30 years, also doing stand-up in redneck clubs for the last 15, might be able to offer something that might be helpful in this kind of situation. No, that couldn't possibly be the case, because instead, I'm supposed to listen to people that really care what everybody else thinks about them all the time. And then you wonder why trans people are unaliving themselves at alarming rates. Is it because I'm telling them that you should love yourself enough that nobody else's opinion matters? Or is it possibly because trans activists are telling them that you should care what every single person thinks about you, and anytime somebody misgenders you, that's an unimaginable victimization that you can't possibly live through? Everything is something that people should have a reason to unalive themselves about, according to the trans activist. What I would tell other LGBT people, if other LGBT people want to listen to me, is take unaliving yourself 100% off the table. Nobody is worth that. You live your life, you be you, let the rest of the world design their feelings around it. You will notice that you will attract people that like you, love you, and respect you because you like, love, and respect yourself. And when you get to that moment, then hit me up in the comments and say thank you. Thank you for giving me that advice that nobody else wanted to give me. And do you know why I'm giving you this advice? Because nobody's giving me money to keep you down. I'm not connected to any doctor that's going to prescribe you any kind of pills or tell you that there's anything that's going to fix you other than you just learning to love yourself and not caring what other people think about you, including the activist. Because the activists used to come at me all the time. My comments have really calmed down as far as the activists go once I started hurting their feelings. And if you want to know where I learned to hurt their feelings the way that I will hurt their feelings, from trans women. Because when I was coming up, the stuff that they call transphobia, we called reading. And I will read the shit out of you if you come at me sideways. I don't care if you're male, female, or anything in between. You can be a they and them. They'll get cussed out. So that's just a quick response to anybody that may be wondering why I quote unquote hate the trans community, or why I quote unquote hate the LGBT community. The truth is, I don't have it in my heart at this age to hate anybody. When I was younger, I thought that I hated people, and it wasn't LGBT people at that time at all, because that's when LGBT was a lot different. And while I never was 100% always with the LGBT community, there were definitely points where I was way more LGBT positive than I am at this point. But Nothing I do is about hate. I don't hate anybody at all. There are people that I dislike the behavior of. There are people that I don't agree with the tactics of, but that doesn't mean that I hate them. They're just not people I would spend time with. They're not people I would hang out with. I don't have to hate people to not like their behavior. Actually, in a lot of cases, people's behavior, especially online, is a lot different than the way that they would behave in real life if they met you, which is something I've learned by some of the most hardcore, supposedly Rivera haters, that once they see me in real life, suddenly they don't have that same energy. Suddenly they just want to have a conversation with me. Maybe because it's easier to be brave when you're behind a keyboard and not right in somebody's face where they might be having an off day and snatch you up. True, but not likely at this age. I've calmed down on that a lot. But when I was younger, you could definitely get snatched up. Anyway, the things that I do and say are truly and genuinely from a place of let's do better. Are truly and genuinely from a place of I have trans friends that have been in this fight for so long now, and we're just getting some breathing room, and we're just getting to a point where people were treating them the way that they always should have been treated, which is not as men or women, but as human beings, which is what everybody wants. Nobody just wants to be treated as their gender or as their sex. People want to be treated as human beings. That's where everybody makes the mistake in a lot of cases, is they think this is the way you respect somebody as a man. This is the way you respect somebody as a woman. How about respecting people as human beings and seeing how they react to that? Instead of grouping them with their gender, with their ethnicity, with their religion, how about just treating them as a human being, and then as you get to know them and get to know how they live all of those things in their own lives, then you adjust the way that you interact with them about those things based on the relationship they have with those things. Because I know a lot of women that don't base their entire personalities on the fact that they're women. I am Latino, Mexican American more specifically. Very proud to be Mexican American. I don't base my entire personality on it. So if a person were to come to me and let me know how much they support me as a Mexican American, I'd be like, yeah, cool. But that's not what my personality is about. So I don't know why you felt that was the first thing you had to tell me that you respect or like about me. Now I feel like you only look at me as a Mexican American. Same with gay. I say I'm the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. Most people that actually know me say they don't even see me as a gay comedian. They see me as just a really good comedian, which I'm 100% fine with and is also 100% accurate. Anyway, if you've made it this far in the video, you should like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to comment and you don't know what to comment, just put a knife, because you know they're definitely going to come for my neck on this one. This has been Rivera, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world.